so today we're going to be doing the salt art. It's really easy. You just need some PVA glue, which I think you should all have. It's helpful if it's got a top like this that you can squirt from, that's better. But it really doesn't matter, you can use a paintbrush if you haven't got that version. So your watercolours, some card and some salt. So that's all you should really need. So the idea is to make your design with the glue. You can do whatever you like. You can use nice thin lines like this. Or you can also experiment with putting your glue onto things. So I've got a leaf here from a houseplant. I've done it with a handprint, anything you can think of. Okay, so I'll try this out. I need to experiment with that a bit. Let's see how it goes. I'll just do some more just for an example. Don't rush with the glue, you want to keep your lines nice and steady. If you want to do something quite fine, it might be easier to do it with paintbrush. Just whatever works best for you. You can do names. So that's it to start. You might want to do this with a big sheet of paper under your paper that you're gluing on. I haven't got one, but it doesn't matter. So just pour your salt over the glue, a nice even layer. And then when that's poured, just pour it back and forth a little just to make sure you've got salt on all the glue. And that's why it's useful to have a bit of paper. I have something here. And tip off your excess. You'll see it gets quite clumpy, like too much salt stuck to your glue. You want to try and get as much of that off as you can. So you can just tap. You also don't have to use your image for painting straight away. You can let that totally dry, it will still work. So if you do let it totally dry, it's a bit easier to get the salt off because the excess just kind of falls away. But just for today, I'm just going to use the one that I've got here. Okay, so it's a little bit like the sugar art in that we're not really painting, we're just kind of dropping the watercolour onto the salt and the salt will absorb it. So choose a colour here. And don't make it too watery because it will spread onto your paper. You want to try and keep it on the salt. And then just touch it to the salt. So you see, like with the sugar art, it starts to spread out and it will go again further than you maybe would imagine. So don't use too much paint. If you do use watery paint or too much paint, then I'll show you an example. You'll end up with like this where it's just dribbled off your salt and it kind of ruins your design. And that's what my daughter did, but you want to try and keep it on the salt. It's quite fun for the NHS rainbows though, it's quite a good one if you want to make one of those. And you can also like blur your colours together. So it allows you to get quite an uplifted pattern on your paper, like a very thick oil paint. So you can play around with different levels of it, start with a really thin layer, paint that, work your way up, do more glue on top of that, and you can get like a really textured piece. It's quite nice. As I say, this is a rainbow that I glued ages and ages ago. So you can see the salt's not all clumpy on that one because once it's dried you can flick it a lot easier. And then it should still work. So it still spreads, and it's a bit easier to judge how far it's going to spread with this one. So I'd probably advise doing your salt quite a bit before you're going to do the paint if you've got time to let it dry. And as I say, I did one with my daughter that was a hand print. I thought that worked out quite well, so you could experiment with that as well. Alright, have fun with it guys, hope you enjoy it.